AITA for changing locks after my family secretly rented out my house for a wedding? My name is Jessica. I'm 32 years old, and I work as a customer service manager at a tech company. I'm not doing badly, the salary is good, and over the years I learned to organize myself, save up, and buy things I never thought I would have. 2 years ago, I made a decision that at the time seemed like the best of my life. I bought a beach house. It's on the Florida Panhandle in a beautiful spot. You can see the ocean from the living room. It has those large picture windows where the light comes in evenly, and although the heat gets strong sometimes, the air feels different there. Outside, there is a simple but perfect little deck. I would sit there in the morning with my coffee, watching the waves, hearing the sound of the water, as if it were erasing my stress. It's not a mansion, it's not huge, but for weekends and vacations it was my place, my breather. I went almost every 2 weeks. It truly became my escape from the city and the routine. My parents, David and Susan, are now over 60. My dad worked in construction his whole life, the kind who endures the sun, the dust, and the heavy lifting until his back said enough. Now he lives with pain and a social security check that barely covers anything. My mom works part-time at a grocery store, and money has never gone far for her. When I bought the house, I gave them an extra key. I told them, use it whenever you want. They were truly so grateful. My dad even got teary-eyed, and I had never seen him like that. That moved something inside me. The two of them started going once a month, sometimes with my younger sister Megan and her husband Kevin. Megan is 28. She works at a dental clinic. She has always been the most sociable, the likable one, the one who knows how to get around, but she is also the one who believes things should just come to her, as if the world owes her something. Kevin is, let's say, passable. He works in a warehouse at a distribution center, and they both constantly complain about money. They have been married for 3 years, and whenever they can, they head down to the beach house with my parents, maybe once every 2 months. Everything was fine. That was the agreement. It was simple, it was family. After every visit, my parents would call me, and my mom would always tell me the same thing with that tender little voice. Jessica, you have no idea what this means to us. Having somewhere to rest, getting away from everything for a bit. You are such a good daughter. It made me feel good, as if I were finally doing something right with my life and my money. Until about a year ago, everything changed. A recruiter called me about a job opportunity. The position was higher, with more responsibility, and the salary almost doubled. It also came with better benefits, medical insurance, bonuses, those things that really change your peace of mind. There was one detail. The job was in Denver. I lived in Austin, and it wasn't like saying, I'm moving to Dallas. It meant changing my life completely. I thought about it for weeks. It was a rare opportunity, the kind that doesn't come around twice. I felt that if I let it pass, I would regret it. One day I called my parents to tell them. My mom got excited. Oh honey, how wonderful. You deserve it. You've worked so hard. And then I blurted out what I had been thinking. I'm going to move to Denver, and I think I'll sell the condo and the beach house. I need the money to buy something there. There was a long silence. My mom said my name, but she didn't sound the same anymore. Jessica, let's see. Are you really going to sell the beach house? I stayed quiet, waiting. My dad chimed in on the call. Look, sweetheart, we take care of it, we maintain it, we check on it, whatever is needed. You don't worry about it, don't sell it. My mom quickly added, it's just that we're already used to going. It does us good, you know, with your dad's back issues, and for me too. That house changed our weekends. I felt a tug in my chest. They didn't have much. That house was probably the best thing they had enjoyed in years. And I thought, how can I take that away from them? How can I say no? I took a breath and said, okay, I won't sell it. Keep using it. The relief was immediate. I heard it in their tone. Thank you, sweetheart. You truly don't know what you're giving us. My mom told me, almost crying. I sold my condo and moved to Denver with that money. The original idea was to buy a house with a yard, something more spacious, but without selling the beach house, I couldn't afford it the same way. I ended up with a nice, comfortable apartment in a quiet area. I'm not complaining. Things went well for me. The job was everything they promised. More money, more stability, more opportunities. I started building a life for myself there. Every 2 weeks I talked to my parents, and they always mentioned the house. We went last weekend, my mom would say. Megan went with Kevin. It was beautiful. The weather was perfect. I would reply, "That's great, Mom. I'm glad you're making the most of it." And she would finish with, "I don't know what we would do without that place. Thank you again." Almost a year went by like that. From time to time I missed the house, honestly I did, but I kept telling myself it was worth it because my parents were enjoying it. I continued paying the property tax, the utilities, and the general maintenance. It wasn't cheap, but I saw it as a willing expense. It was for their peace of mind, for their rest. Until one day Rick, the real estate agent who had helped me buy the house, called me. I never really talked to Rick often, but we kept in touch. A happy holidays text in December and email about whatever. Nothing important. When I answered, he sounded serious. "Hello, Jessica. Hey, I hope you're doing well. I have a question about your house on the Panhandle." "Tell me," I said. "I'm checking rentals in the area for work, and a listing came up that is clearly your house. It's under the name of someone named Megan. It caught my attention because the ad implies that she's the owner." My stomach dropped. "Megan," I said slowly. "My sister Megan. Can you send me the link?" "Yes, of course, I'll send it right now." I hung up and stared at my phone as if I didn't know what to do with my hands. They were shaking. When the message arrived, I opened the link and felt as if I had been punched in the chest. It was my house, my pictures, my furniture, the living room with the couch I chose, the dining table, even the bedroom lamp, everything. At the top, as the main contact, was Megan's number. The ad stated it was available for weekends, vacations, and events. The rate was around $350 per night during the regular season, and more expensive on special dates. It also said in fine print that for events the price was different. The worst part was the reviews, dozens of them, many for at least 6 months, maybe more. "We spent an incredible weekend." Megan responded very quickly. "The house is exactly as pictured, and the beach access is a beauty. We already booked our next visit," read one review. Another talked about a week during Christmas. "Waking up with an ocean view was a dream. Megan was super friendly and attentive. 5 stars. I was frozen. My family had told me they spent Christmas there, but they never mentioned they had rented it to strangers. Never." I kept scrolling down and every review fired me up even more. Perfect for a work retreat, good internet, enough space for meetings, and the beach for an afternoon walk. Megan was very professional. My throat closed up, and then I saw a review that left me paralyzed. "We're already dreaming of getting married here. Megan told us the property is rented out for events. It would be perfect for an outdoor ceremony. We'll talk details shortly." I kept staring at the screen without blinking. My sister was doing business with my house, and there was no way my parents didn't know. All that year they were thanking me, they were playing me for a fool. I grabbed my cell phone and called my mom. Not to complain right away. I needed to test her to see if she would tell me the truth. "Hello, sweetheart," my mom answered. Like always. "How are things going out there?" "Good, Mom. Hey, I was thinking about taking a few days off next week. I want to go to the beach house. It's been a long time since I last went." There was a silence. Then I heard movement, as if she were covering the phone or standing up quickly. "Oh, well, that would be nice," she said. "But Megan and Kevin are there right now. They went to rest a bit. You know they've been very swamped with work." More lies. While my mom was speaking, I opened the reservation calendar on the listing. The house was booked all week by someone with a last name I didn't recognize. It wasn't my sister, it wasn't my family. "Well," I told her, "then maybe the following week." "Well, I don't know," she replied hurriedly. "They changed plans. Better talk to them directly." It was obvious she wanted to hang up. "You know what, Mom? Now that I think about it, I'd rather go to Miami for a few days. I want something different." I felt the relief in her voice, even though she tried to hide it. "Oh yes, sweetie, that sounds better. You deserve a real vacation. The beach house is very simple." She hung up quickly, using the excuse of making lunch. I stared at the phone with a dry anger, the kind that makes no noise but burns you up inside. It wasn't just Megan. My parents were also involved. Called Rick again. I saw the listing. I told him, "This is very bad." "I thought so too," he answered. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know," I said. "I can't believe it. I've paid for everything. property tax, electricity, water, repairs, and they're making money without telling me anything. Rick lowered his voice. Jessica, that's illegal. They're charging for something that doesn't belong to them. I don't want to sue my family, I said with a tight throat. I understand, but there is a way to put a stop to it. Let me look into it with people I know. I can find out when they have the house booked. That way you can confront them with something they can't deny. That actually made sense to me. Do it, I told him. And please don't say anything to them. Not yet. The following days were hell. Everything reminded me of the house, my living room in Denver, my apartment, my routine. And me thinking about what I could have had if I had sold that property too. A house with a yard, more space, a different life. And instead I was paying for a home that others were exploiting. Rick called me almost 2 weeks later. Jessica, I found something. Are you sitting down? Yes, I said, and shifted to the edge of the bed. Tell me. Your sister booked the house for a big wedding. From what I heard through someone who organizes events, they're expecting about 100 people. It's in about a month and a half, and they're charging a lot heavily. I felt a chill in my chest, a pure, concentrated anger. It wasn't a little extra help, it was a full-blown business. Rick, I said, I need you to do me a favor. Get me tenants, people who want to rent it for several months. I want them living there before that wedding. There was a silence, and then he said, It's doable. Give me a couple of weeks. Perfect. And don't tell anyone. 2 weeks later he called me back. I have a couple. They work online, they want to move near the ocean for 6 months, they have savings, and they want to secure a good place because they're tired of moving around. They pay well if they like the spot. Good, I said. I'm going to go meet them and sign. I requested vacation time at work and took a flight to Pensacola. I didn't tell anyone, not even my parents. From there I rented a car and drove to the house. I left at dawn so I wouldn't get stuck in the outbound traffic. Even so, it took me a couple of hours. I arrived with the sun already beating down and the humid coastal air. When I arrived, I stayed at the steering wheel for a second, looking at the house. It looked the same facade, the same gate, the same feeling of it being my place, but it no longer felt peaceful, it felt like betrayal. I got out with my keys, put the key in the lock, and it opened. Right there I confirmed something horrible. My family was still coming and going as if nothing was wrong. That very same day I called a locksmith and changed all the locks. All of them. The front door, side doors, the gate, anything possible. I paid for it and kept the new keys. Then I met with Rick and the couple. Their names were Mark and Chloe. They were calm, friendly, but you could tell they were not pushovers. Rick was direct. I have to tell you something. There might be some conflict. The owner's family has been intruding, and they aren't going to like that. There are tenants. Chloe looked at me intensely and said, It's okay. We like the place and we don't scare easily. Mark nodded. We came here to work and have peace. If there's a contract, we're fine. That gave me some breathing room. We signed the lease agreement that same afternoon. 6 months with a deposit and 3 months paid in advance. We agreed on something simple. They would pay their utilities and I would continue with the property tax. I gave them my contact info and Rick's. I asked them that if anyone showed up making a scene, not to argue, just to let me know. Before leaving, I asked Rick for another favor, to report the listing with proof that I was the owner and request that they take it down. I wasn't going to allow them to keep collecting advances. Then I went back to Denver. 3 weeks passed. I kept waiting for the explosion, but it didn't come. Until one Tuesday after lunch, my phone started ringing nonstop. First it was Megan, then my dad, then my mom. I didn't answer a single call. Around noon, the messages started. Megan, Jessica, what is this? The keys don't work. My dad, we need to talk. Urgent. My mom, sweetheart, please answer. I understood immediately. They had finally gone. Later I found out from a message from my mom that they had gone to prep the house because the wedding was only a week away. They wanted to clean, tidy up, and receive some vendors. I turned off my notifications and went about my day as if nothing happened. Let them feel it a little, let them sweat. Let them wonder what was going on. The messages didn't stop. Megan, there are people living here. They say they have a contract. What kind of contract did you make? My mom, Jessica, this is serious. We have obligations. Please. My dad, answer. Let's talk properly. I held out until almost midnight. I finally answered my mom. Jessica, thank God, she said with a trembling voice. What is happening? Who are those people? They're my tenants, Mom, I replied slowly. I put my house up for rent. What do you mean you put it up for rent? She blurted out as if she didn't understand. But we used that house. You said we could use it. Yes, I told her. I said you could use it. I didn't say you could run a business with it. Silence. My mom was breathing heavily. I don't know what you're talking about, she tried to say. Not anymore, Mom, I answered her. I already saw everything. I saw the listing, the reviews, I saw how long you've been renting it out, and I know you all have been lying to me. Another pause. And then with a tiny voice. Jessica, can we explain it to you? Of course you can, I said. But first tell me something. Were you planning to tell me about the wedding? What wedding? She asked. And right there her voice broke. The wedding for 100 people in my house, I told her. The one you already booked, the one that's next weekend. I heard whispers in the background, as if she were covering the phone and talking to my dad. Then she came back. Jessica, listen, she said, speaking faster now. We messed up. We're sorry. We needed extra income. You're doing well, honey. We're struggling. We thought it wouldn't bother you. It wouldn't bother me, I repeated without raising my voice. I've paid for everything while you guys collected the money without telling me anything, and you still thanked me for letting you use it. We were going to tell you, she said. When? I asked. When you had gathered enough to sort yourselves out? She stayed quiet. Then her tone changed. It hardened. Jessica, you have to get those tenants out. We have a wedding next weekend. They already gave us a $3,000 deposit, and they were going to pay us $5,000 more when it took place. For events, the charge is different, you know. It's all right around the corner. That's when I understood everything. It was $8,000 for one weekend. In my house. That sounds like a you problem, Mom, I told her. No, Jessica, it's everyone's problem, she replied insistently. That money has already been used. They asked us for an advance by bank transfer, and we spent it because we were counting on the rest. If we don't deliver, they will demand a refund and a cancellation penalty. Then get it, I told her, because I'm not going to move my tenants. I heard my mom start to cry. Please, sweetheart, she said. Just this once, ask them to leave for a weekend. We'll pay them something for the trouble. No, I replied. Jessica, they're going to sue us, she sobbed. The bride's father is furious. He says it's fraud. That's what happens when you charge for something that isn't yours, I told her and hung up. My hands were shaking. Yes, but I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks, relief. They finally knew that I knew. The phone kept ringing all night. Megan, my dad, my mom again. I didn't answer. Then new messages arrived. Megan, you're ruining us. We need that money. My dad. Your mother is desperate. How can you do this to us? My mom. Just help us. We'll do whatever it takes. I turned off my cell phone and went to sleep. I slept deeply like I hadn't slept since I saw that listing. The next day I woke up to 17 missed calls. I listened to a voicemail from my mom. Her voice was pure begging. Jessica, please. The wedding family is demanding a refund of the deposit and a penalty because it's so close. They want $10,000 in total. We don't have that, only you can fix it. $10,000. I sat on the bed staring at the wall. Part of me felt bad. Of course they are my parents. But then the memories hit me, the calls, my mom's grateful tone, the lies. Me paying for everything, them collecting the cash, strangers sleeping in my beds. I called. Hello. My mom answered immediately, as if she had been glued to the phone. I'm not giving you $10,000, I said. Jessica, please, she cried. We're desperate. They're going to sue us. You should have thought of that before you started charging rent without telling me, I replied. We thought we could follow through, she defended herself. It had been working for months. Because I didn't know, I told her. But now I know. There was a silence. Then my mom blurted out something that made me angry all over again. So this is a punishment, she said. You think I'm punishing you? I replied. I'm protecting my property, nothing more. Your dad could lose the house, she said, as if that explained everything. We're going to have to ask for a loan, we can't do it. That phrase hit me, but it was a hit of guilt, not logic. They chose to lie, they chose to charge. They chose to spend in advance on something that wasn't even theirs. That's not my fault, Mom, I said. You are our daughter, she cried. And you're supposed to. And you're my parents. I cut her off. Parents who don't lie like this. Parents who don't take advantage. I hung up, and I blocked their numbers. That same afternoon my dad reached out to me from another number. Jessica, he said with a tired voice, let's talk like a family without yelling. Tell me what you want us to do. I want you to stop using my house as if it were yours, I answered. I want you to accept what you did and fix it yourselves. I've already set my boundaries. Your mom is doing badly, he said. I was doing badly too, Dad, I replied. And nobody looked out for me. I hung up and blocked that number too. A week later, my Aunt Carol, my mom's sister, called me. Jessica, she said seriously, I found out about the beach house thing. Your parents say you left them hanging and cost them $10,000. Is that what they told you? I asked. And right there I told her everything, from the listing, the reviews, the wedding, the lies. When I finished, Carol stayed silent. I didn't know anything about that, she finally said. Your mom told the story as if you had become cruel out of nowhere. They've been lying to me for months, I told her, and collecting money for my house while I paid for everything. How awful, she said. Honestly, what a shame. I'm so sorry, Jessica. It felt good that someone finally understood my side. A few days later I got a call from an unknown number. I was about to not answer, but something made me pick up. Hello. It was my mom crying. We're in trouble, she blurted out. Real trouble. We had to tell them the house wasn't available. To pay them back. We had to put the whole amount on a credit card and take out a personal loan. It's $10,000. The interest rates are extremely high. We're not going to be able to handle this. We're going to lose everything. The house, the car, everything. Help us, please. I breathed slowly. Mom, I said. I'm your daughter, the one you lied to for months. We already know we were wrong, she cried. But help us. To you that's not that much money, not with the job you have. To me it is, I answered her. I work for every single dollar. They don't just give it away. But we're family, she insisted. Family doesn't steal, I said. Family doesn't take advantage. She didn't answer. Mom, I continued. I gave you something valuable. I let you use a beach house for free. Do you know how much that costs a year in vacations? A lot. And instead of being grateful, you took the easy way out. We needed the money, she said with a threat of a voice. Then you should have asked me for it, I replied. With honesty, not behind my back. There was a silence that squeezed my chest. My mom asked very quietly, would you have said yes? I stayed quiet for a second. I don't know, I said. But at least you would have been straightforward. That changes everything. Please, Jessica, she insisted. Enough, forgive us. We're not going to do it again. Of course you're not, I told her. Because you don't have access anymore. What do you mean we don't have access? She said, confused, and the crying stopped. The house is already rented out, I answered. Long term. It's no longer a house for visits, not anymore. My mom's voice went cold. We're going to fight this. We're going to find a lawyer. Do it, I replied calmly. I would love to see you explain why you were renting out someone else's house and collecting deposits. She hung up without saying goodbye. Over the following days, I received calls from numbers I didn't know. Megan, Kevin, even my dad tried from another phone. I didn't answer. Then messages came from weird numbers. Jessica, it is Megan. You destroyed us. We had to ask for money to pay the wedding people back. My parents are going to lose their house because of you. Another one read, I am your dad. I never thought my daughter could be like this. And one more from Kevin, Megan is having anxiety attacks. You have to fix this. I blocked every number as soon as it came in. A week later, Carol called me again. Jessica, I want to give you a heads up, she said. Your mom has been telling the whole family that this was due to your selfishness. That you force them into this by not helping them. Let her say whatever she wants, I answered. Whoever knows me knows the truth. I already told a few people, Carol said. Your cousin Matt is in shock. He can't believe they did that to you. Thank you, I told her. And I truly meant it. Really, thank you. 2 weeks later, my mom called again from another number. I was tired by then, but I answered. Jessica, she said without a greeting. We need that $10,000. We can't handle the payments. Well, you should have thought of that before, I replied. Her voice grew hard. You know what? We don't need you. We'll see how we get out of this. But don't expect us to forgive you. I don't expect anything from you all anymore, I told her. Good, she blurted out. Because you're selfish and ungrateful. It's over. We finally agree, I answered, and she hung up. I waited for more messages, more attempts. They didn't come. I think in the end they understood that I wasn't going to yield. I called Rick to ask about Mark and Chloe. They're doing very well, he told me. Quiet, and they take great care of the place. They're delighted. The house works perfectly for them for remote work, facing the ocean, furnished with stable internet. They already asked if they can extend the lease. And my family? I asked. Nothing serious, he said. I think your sister drove by once as if to see if she could get in, but they've figured it out by now. 6 months after all that, Mark and Chloe extended the contract for another year. They pay me $4,000 a month. That changed my comfort level, not because I had too much money, but because it stopped being an expense and became real income. My parents and Megan haven't tried to reach out to me since that last call. Only Carol tells me from time to time how they are doing. My parents are still struggling with the debt, paying it off however they can. Megan and Kevin moved to a cheaper apartment. Carol told me that my mom still tells anyone who will listen that I'm the villain, that I abandoned my family for money. Let her say it. I know what happened. I know they lied to me. I know they thanked me with one hand while collecting money with the other. I don't miss the drama, I don't miss the lies, I don't miss that feeling of having trusted and being left looking like a fool. My life in Denver is going well. Things at work are going better than I expected. I was promoted recently. I'm making more money than ever. And now my beach house is finally doing what it was supposed to do. Helping me, not sinking me. Sometimes I think about going. Driving over for a weekend, seeing it from a distance, saying hi to Mark and Chloe. They send me pictures from time to time. They planted some pots, fixed up the little garden, they keep everything clean, you can tell they take care of it, but honestly I'm in no rush to go back. It left a bad taste in my mouth, not because of the house, but because of what happened surrounding that house. Comment. Setting boundaries with the people we love the most is often the hardest thing we will ever have to do in life. We often confuse blind loyalty with true family love, forgetting that genuine relationships must be built on mutual respect and honesty. True kindness does not mean allowing others to take advantage of your generosity or sacrificing your peace of mind to fix their mistakes. Holding people accountable for their actions is actually a form of tough love that encourages growth and responsibility. Walking away from unhealthy dynamics is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step toward protecting your mental health. You have the absolute right to surround yourself with people who value your trust and treat you with the sincerity you deserve. It takes immense courage to stop being the safety net for those who repeatedly choose to cross your limits. I hope this reminds you to stand firm in your truth and prioritize your peace without carrying unnecessary guilt. Please take a moment to reflect on your relationships, and remember that choosing your own happiness is always a valid choice. I would love to read your thoughts on setting healthy limits in the comments below. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.